Hello everyone, this is Matt of I Am Photo Videoist channel. Welcome back to another Adobe Photoshop 2021 tutorials. In this tutorial, I will be covering recorded actions. So you might be asking, what are they? Well, this is a very useful feature in Photoshop where it helps you save your work when you try to create new layers and adding filters over it or any kind of effects and color adjustments that you want to do on top over your images. Basically, this is a recorded action that speeds up your work. And just to let you know that only full layers or full image are affected. I'm sure there are other gurus out there that can custom make it where it can do a selective unique actions. But that's not what we are covering here today, and currently I don't even know how to do it yet. But we will cover on how to get you started so that you can include this in your own workflow. So without further ado, let's get right to it. So in this image over here, I have a background image. For now it's only a one layer. I did not take this photo, so I would give it to the right copyright owner. This image that I use in one of those free no copyright photos that I can freely use at anywhere, either business or personal editing for use, school training, whatever it may be. And we're gonna unlock this layer. Here we go. Obviously from background layer it'll turn to layer 0. Let's go ahead and create a duplicate layer of this. I'm gonna call it backup. So just so I can go back if I ever make a mistake on anything. So let's turn off the layer of the backup layer and let's select on layer 0. Now to create the first action, we're gonna do something simple. See this pane over here where you have all these other tools? Where you want to go for is this play button, and this is basically what the action button is. So you click on that. Your Photoshop would come in by default, that comes in out of the box. You can test it out the way if you want to try it out, but you know, you can click one of them and press play over here, so it'll apply that to over your image over here, whatever workspace you are in. But what we want to do right now is we want to create a new folder first. So it's good for organization. So you see this little folder in here. This is where you want to create that new set. So let's go create a new set. Click. You can name it however you like. Let's call this test for now. Testing testing filters. How about that? Let's leave it like that. Okay, make sure you have the setting filter selected, the one that you just created. And then what we want to do is you want to create a new action right here. Create a new action. So before we get right into that, I'm going to show you the one that I wanted to do. So we're going to create a new screen filter over this picture. So basically this is what's going to happen. I'm going to create a new layer. That's what I want to do. We can name it however we want, but I'll leave it layer for now. And then I'm going to pick the paint bucket tool. We can click the purple, like how it is, and then just fill this thing up. And then I want to click this, do a screen, and then turn it to 8%. So then you see the difference. You know, it's got a little subtle difference of it. So that's basically what we want to do. And you can see there's a lot of steps, right? So let's go ahead and delete this thing again. Now we're going to go ahead and create the action button that we wanted to do. So let's create a new action right here. It will ask you to name your recording. So let's go ahead and name this screen filter. Whoops. Screen filter. Obviously, it'll ask you what set you want this to be recorded into. Obviously, we want it to be recording testing filters. You can select it to wherever you want, but we want it to be in testing filters. Function key is for shortcut keys. It's up to you if you want to do a shortcut key, but me personally, I don't want to do it because it kind of overwrites some of the shortcut key that was already binded in my keyboard. The color, you could choose however you like. It doesn't affect your image. It's more likely if you have a lot of list in here, you just want to coordinate it in color. So now let's go ahead and click on record. Now as you will see, you'll see this little red button in here, and then if you because right now it's going to be recording what you're about to do. You can press stop once you're done recording. So first things first, make sure your layer 0 is selected, and it will record that layer 0. So make sure that if you're going to create a new document, make sure that the name of the document that you're creating is exactly the same thing, like layer 0. If you named it in the very beginning, let's say a person in a rail, in a terrace, you make sure that if you're going to create a new document and apply this filter, that is exact same name. You have to rename that to that. So obviously we want it to be layer 0, right? So now let's go ahead and create this new layer. Boop. Make a layer. Then click the paint bucket tool. Let's select our color, change this to purple, click OK, and then we're gonna fill this whole thing up. Then go to screen, and then 8%. And since now that we applied that colored image, put the screen and everything like that, we can click on stop. Let's go ahead and delete this. Now what we want to do is, obviously in here in the action button, go ahead and make sure you select the screen filter and layer 0, screen filter, and then you click on this play button. Boop. There you go. Now with that one button, it did everything for you, which is added a new layer, paint the whole thing and fill it with purple, and added the screen and changed the opacity to 8%. So as you can see, subtle change in there, but there's a big difference. So, and yeah, so that's how you create a simple recorded actions. Now let's do another example. What I want to do now is I want to create a gradient over this, so with a little bit more selections. Okay, so let's go ahead and delete this layer 1. Okay, and obviously I want to do another recording, so let's go create, make sure this testing filter is selected and not this, because we created that action. You don't want to overwrite things in there. Let's go ahead and select on testing filters, create a new action, and then gradient filter. Make sure set is in the testing filters, everything's the same, and then let's click record. So now every little action you're about to do is going to start recording. Let's go ahead and create a new filter, new layer, new layer. And I wanted to do almost exact same thing as screen filter because I want to show you more steps this time, so a little bit more advanced. So let's go ahead and do the same thing, paint bucket tool, right? And then let's pick this purple. Okay, fill this whole thing up. Okay, and then let's change this to screen, and then let's change this to 8%, and then press enter. Alright, so that's layer 1. We already did that. This is very similar to this, but now we're going to add gradient filter over it. So basically it's recording another action to go with it to show. So I just want to show you how much you're saving time in your workflow, and it keeps your job consistent. So let's go ahead and adjustment layer, and then let's select gradient map over here, right? You turn select that, And then I'm gonna change this to soft light, right? And then we're gonna change this to 20%. I know you don't see much difference, but there's subtle differences in there. And then let's click this. Then let's change this to, I don't know, let's say something reddish, right? Let's do red. And this side, let's go change this to, I don't know, green. And there's some subtle changes you see. How about that? Or maybe we can do light blue. How about that? Yeah, let's do that. Click OK. Boop. And there you go. So this is it. Make sure you don't do any other silly things in here like turning off the layer, because that will be included in the recording. So, but this is our intention. We want to make it look like this. So now we can press stop. Now you can go see the difference with this. You know, that's when you can turn this thing on and off and whatever. At least it's out of recording. It's not like messing up with what you're doing. So but basically that's the final result. So now with these two layers, you know, you saw all the steps that I'm doing, and there's a lot of steps in there. So, but that can be solved with this recorded layer. We call it gradient filter, right? So let's go ahead and delete these two layers just so you can see what it does. Since we already did the screen filter, we're gonna do gradient filter now. So select the gradient filter and then press the play button and let it rip. Boop. There you go. It's done. One button, it's there. Boom. So basically the useful thing about this is, let's say you have 10 or 20 photos that you have to do the same exact thing, and sometimes the settings you don't even remember what the specific colors are. So instead of doing the whole repetitive thing, you can just save in your action and then just click, you know, the play button, and you should be all set. Now I'm gonna do one last thing, and this let's do almost the same situation where we have all these things in here, except this time we're gonna affect the layer 0. We're gonna do an actual color grading using camera raw filters in Photoshop. That's pretty complicated right there. So just a bonus for you guys when I do my editing. So let's go ahead and delete this. Okay, since I know we created a backup already, that means I'm not going to touch this original image, so I can always revert back or delete this layer 0 if I want to. So let's turn this thing off. All right, let's go ahead and create a new, let's select testing filters, let's create a brand new actions again. This time we'll call it color grade raw. There you go. Setting, the rest of the sets are the same. Let's click on record, and now we are in recording session. So layer 0, we're gonna go to filter, camera raw filter. Let's go on ahead and color grade this photo. Like that. I'm gonna speed this thing up. Doesn't matter, I'm not trying to do too much in here. Just wanna show you guys what you know, the kind of changes that I'll be doing. So you see how there's so many steps that you get to do, and then obviously you're not gonna remember everything that I'm doing in here. So, or maybe when you do your stuff, like you don't even remember, like, oh, what's the setup of red and oranges and hue, saturation, and lightness? What is it? You know. So I'm only doing this for demonstration purposes. I'm not trying to make the photo look nice or whatsoever. Let's say these are your setup. Like that. Let's make this one darker. Okay. And then let's add color grading. Do that. Make it like that. Got a little bit of blending in here. Change the balance. Alright, see all that change that I made? Alright, that's gonna be recorded. So let's click OK. So now that photo is recorded. Now let's go ahead and create a new layer. New layer. Let's go ahead and click the paint bucket tool. Paint bucket tool. Let's change this to the whole purple thing, or whatever color you like. Click OK. Fill the whole thing up. Let's add a new screen filter and 8%. Press enter. And then let's go ahead and create a new gradient map. Gradient map. Boom. And then turn that to soft light. Change that to 20%. How we had it. Click on this. Then we're gonna go ahead and select this shadowy dark area. Let's change it to, I don't know, this one I'm gonna make it a little different. Let's click brown, right? Click this, and then let's click on this one, or maybe something that, maybe, or that. Let's see how they look like. Somehow I kind of like to make the photo a little nicer. Anyways, yeah, let's just pick that, right? Okay, and then click OK. And there you go. We can now press stop. So this whole thing, all this action that we just did, is finally recorded. So now I'm going to demonstrate it to you. What's it going to be like? Let's obviously, I'm going to have to delete the layer 0, because if I play over layer 0 with this, after I delete this too, I already color graded this. So basically it's going to apply that same color gradation in here, which makes it more saturated. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the backup one. So let's go ahead and delete this, that, and since we have the backup one, let's create another backup just so we can always revert back. So backup copy. Now since since the name when we recorded, upon recording that action, is layer 0, we're gonna have to name this layer 0. So it detects that, oh yeah, this is the one that I need to apply the filters over, the actions over, and such. So now I name it to layer 0, select it, and then let's go press play and let her rip. There you go. That's it. All that step that I did, it's all there. And hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and hopefully you guys learn a lot of new things. Probably open up your eyes that, you know, I want to do the same thing, you know, on my new projects. So try to experiment with it. If you guys fail first time, it's okay. Just do the same thing over and over again. Do one thing at a time. Try the easier path first, how I did it in the beginning, and then you advance yourself to the second more difficult actions, and you know, and then try to mix it all up. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe to my channel, and hope you guys to see you on the next tutorial. Later. Oh great, you made it this far. It would be awesome if you could follow and like that button on Facebook, but also sub and smash that like button on my YouTube channel, available in the description of this video. Now if you would like to get exclusive access to my photography and other things that I worked on that are not available anywhere, you can check out my Patreon website. And if you decide to support my creativity, you can pledge a support on my Patreon page. Click on any join button when you choose a tier. You are not obligated to join and can cancel at any time. And again, thanks for watching, and until I see you in the next one. Later!